So you will have heard of the Battle of Hastings in 1066. However, there was another battle in 1066, and it was the Battle of Stamford Bridge on the 25th of September 1066. The well-known battle in 1066 at Hastings in East Sussex is remembered by many. However, a fierce battle between the Vikings and Anglo-Saxons occurred in Yorkshire in September 1066, weeks before the Battle of Hastings. On the 5th of January 1066, the King of England, King Edward the Confessor, died. This caused a succession struggle across northern Europe, with several contenders willing to fight for the throne of England. One such claimant was the King of Norway, Harald Hardrada, who arrived off the north coast of England in September with a fleet of 300 ships packed with roughly 11,000 Vikings, all willing to fight and win at battle. Hardrada's Viking army was further strengthened by forces recruited by Tostig Godwinson, brother of Harold Godwinson, who had been selected as the next King of England by the King's councillors following Edward's death. The Viking battle group sailed up the rivers Humber and Ouse, and after a fierce encounter with Morcar, the Earl of Northumberland, at the Battle of Fulford, seized York. King Harold Godwinson now had a problem. Does he march north and confront Hardrada before he could firm his hold on Yorkshire, or guard the south of England and prepare for the expected invasion from France by William, Duke of Normandy, yet another contender for the throne? A man of action, King Harold's Anglo-Saxon army rode from London to York on the old Roman roads, a distance of 185 miles in just 4 days. They reached Tadcaster near York on the 24th of September, where Godwinson commanded a brief rest for his exhausted troops. Upon receiving scout reports that the majority of Hardrada's units were camping at Stamford Bridge, some miles east of York, he mustered his men and departed Tadcaster in the early morning of 25th of September, heading east, hoping to seize the element of surprise. September in 1066 was unusually very warm, and many of the invading Vikings had left their armour on the ships anchored some miles away on the river Ouse near Rickhall. The Viking army was dispersed. Some were keeping watch on the west side of the River Derwent, while the bulk of the invasion was camping on the east side of the Derwent at Stamford Bridge. A few thousand men were also ordered to guard the fleet docked near Rickhall. Hardrada assumed that Harold Godwinson would not leave the south of England. However, King Harold Godwinson's army, led by him on horseback, advanced from York down the hill towards the River Derwent and Stamford Bridge. The Vikings were totally unprepared for the unexpected encounter, yet they didn't just sit and wait for slaughter. The dispersed Vikings on the west bank engaged the Anglo-Saxons, but were eventually defeated. The bulk of the Viking troops on the east side formed a battle line, hastily preparing for the upcoming attack. Anglo-Saxon chronicles state that the narrow crossing over the bridge was blocked by a lone Viking axeman, who single-handedly blocked the crossing from the advancing army. Hewing his long Dane axe, he was able to cut down around 40 of King Godwinson's army who dared to challenge him. He was finally defeated when one of the English soldiers got under the bridge and stabbed his spear upwards into the Viking's legs and back. In the fierce fighting that followed, both Hardrada and Tostig were both killed, and when the Viking army retreated, the invading army were all but annihilated. Only 24 ships from the original fleet of 300 were needed to carry the survivors back to Norway. Just 3 days later, William the Conqueror landed his Norman invasion fleet on England's south coast. This later led to a battle further in the south of England at the Battle of Hastings. Please subscribe to my channel and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
Looking over my shoulder, looking back at your door.